friends, welcome back to my channel and my craft room. I'm Kelly Wicker and I'm so excited to have you here today. Are you ready to get a little messy and have some fun? Today I'm taking the gorgeous Field Notes 3D embossing folder from Spellbinders and bringing it to life with sprays, spritz, and shimmers, and splatters. If you love dreamy backgrounds and botanical vibes, you're going to love this one. So let's jump in and get creating. Alright y'all, today I'm so excited to share a fun card project featuring the Field Notes 3D embossing folder. Here it is. This is from the new Field Notes collection by Spellbinders. Spellbinders was kind enough to send me this embossing folder to create with as part of their affiliate program, and let me tell you, it's absolutely gorgeous, y'all. This folder is packed with beautiful scattered botanical elements all over the background, making it a fabulous piece to mix and match with other sets in the Field Notes collection. Now this is the only item I have from the collection so far, so I decided to pair it with Simon Hurley's Everyday Foliage cutting dies and the Through the Meadow sentiment set to really bring this embossing folder to life. Today I'm going to get a little messy, y'all, but in the best way possible. I'll be spraying with Distress Oxide Sprays and Distress Spritzes and a little shimmer spritz to add a beautiful shine. I'm really into the shine lately. I'm also adding some perfect pearl splatters for that extra dreamy touch. For my base, I'm using Distress watercolor cardstock, which holds up beautifully to all the layers of color and moisture that we'll be adding to this card panel. I really just wanted to have some fun with sprays and spritz today. No rules, just play. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the card making fun, y'all. Alright, I've got my Platinum 6 set up and ready, and I'm using Distress watercolor cardstock for my card panel today. I figured since I'm going to be spraying all the things, I'd better use a cardstock that can handle it. You know, this is my go-to cardstock for things like this. Before I get to the messy fun, I'm running this panel through the Field Notes 3D embossing folder first. Since it's a 3D folder, I'm following the instructions on the universal plate system. Gotta make sure I get all those gorgeous details, y'all. Fingers crossed it embosses beautifully, but honestly, even if it doesn't, I'm just gonna spray over it anyway. So let's go. Alright, you just saw me give the cardstock a quick spritz with my mighty mister. I always do that before using a 3D embossing folder so the paper stays nice and soft and doesn't crack. Now I'm going to run it through with the Field Notes 3D embossing folder from Spellbinders. I love working with 3D folders. The texture you get is just next level, and it makes your backgrounds look so detailed without needing a ton of extra layers. Quick tip while we're at it. If you ever want even deeper impressions, you can lightly mist both sides of your cardstock before embossing. Just a tiny bit more water makes a big difference without turning it into a soggy mess. I just finished running the panel through my Platinum 6, just one nice steady pass, letting the machine do the work. I always love that moment when you peel it out of the folder. It's like opening a little present every time. Okay, I'm just going to set the machine to the side here. And let's take a look at this, y'all. Alright, and just look at that. Voila! It embossed beautifully. All those gorgeous botanical details are raised up and catching the light so perfectly. You can see all the texture and depth that this 3D embossing folder gives. It's just stunning in person. Now I'm getting set up to do all the spraying and spritzing. I've got my Distress Oxide Sprays, my Distress Spritz, and a little bit of Shimmer Spritz all ready to go. I'm working over my craft mat, and I pulled out my Tim Holtz Splat Box too. It's starting to get a little warped from all the love, but that's okay. It still does the job and saves my desk from getting totally covered. This is my favorite part, just playing with the color, layering up the sprays, and letting the background really come to life. I just love how this card panel looks. I love how the design is scattered across the background too. It makes it so easy to pair with other die cuts, sentiments, or even just leave it on its own and let it shine. Every time I use one of these 3D folders, it reminds me why I reach for them again and again. They really do all the heavy lifting and make your cards look super fancy without much effort. Such a fun start to today's project. Alright y'all, so today I'm not following any rules or anything. I'm just having a fun play day here in my craft room, spraying all the things. I really wanted to get my sprays out. So for the background, I'm starting out with Distress Oxide Sprays, a Mermaid Lagoon, Mowed Lawns, Mustard Seed, and Picked Raspberry. It's such a bright, happy color combination. Then for the Distress Spritz sprays, I'm layering in Picked Raspberry and Fossilized Amber, just to add a little extra movement and some different textures. And of course, I'll be finishing it off with a few spritzes of Shimmer Spritz, because honestly, everything is better with a little bit more sparkle, am I right? So I've got my heat tool out and ready to go, because I like to dry between my layers as I go. If you dry in between sprays, you can really build up some beautiful depth without the colors blending into a muddy mess. Sometimes I let the panel dry all the way between colors if I want crisp edges, and sometimes I only half dry if I'm looking for those dreamy watercolor bleeds where the colors flow into each other. So I also keep a paper towel nearby while I'm working, as you see me doing there before I bring in the heat gun, and you'll see me grab it and just lightly dab up any areas where the spray's pooling too much, especially around the edges. That little step really helps keep the background from getting oversaturated or warping too badly. Plus, sometimes when you lift off those puddles, you get those soft, ghostly textures underneath, and they just add even more interest to the final background. I just brought in the card panels there to show you the panels that I really fell in love with, and that's what I'm mimicking here, at least trying to anyways. So what about y'all? Do you ever just have play day where you create without any rules? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear what your favorite way is just to let loose and have fun with your craft supplies. Alright y'all, so at this point I'm just having so much fun spraying and spritzing everything. I'm not overthinking it, I'm not trying to be super precise, I'm literally just enjoying the process and letting the colors do their thing. Some sprays are heavier, some are lighter, some areas are blending together in these soft, dreamy ways, and others are staying nice and bold, and honestly I love that. This is what it's all about, y'all, just playing and letting your supplies surprise you. I know sometimes it can feel like we have to plan every little thing when we sit down to craft, but days like today are a good reminder that you don't have to have a super clear plan. You can just pick up your sprays, start layering, and see what happens. No stress, no pressure, just play. I don't even know what this background panel looks like to y'all right now, but to me, I think it's looking awesome. I'm just having the best time in my craft room with this. There are these beautiful little pockets where the Mermaid Lagoon and Mowed Lawn are blending into each other, and then you've got these bright pops of picked raspberry and mustard seed coming through, and every now and then a little bit of that shimmer spritz catches the light, and it's just oh so sparkly and happy, y'all. I'm still working in the layers, spraying a little, drying a little with my heat tool, sometimes dabbing up the extra puddles with my paper towel to keep everything from getting too soggy. I love that part too because it makes every layer a little different. It's not perfect and it's not supposed to be. That's kind of the magic of it. The way the sprays react with each other, the way the colors overlap, and the unexpected textures you get, it's like this beautiful little adventure on a piece of cardstock. If you've never tried just setting yourself free like this, no rules, no real plan, well, I sort of had a plan, but I know what I wanted to create, but I highly recommend it. There's something so freeing about letting go expectations and just enjoying the process. And honestly, on a more personal note, crafting like this, just spraying, playing, getting a little messy, it's more than just making a pretty background for me. It's actually one of the ways I deal with my anxiety. I do go to therapy on a weekly basis, and it's been such an important part of my journey. But even outside of therapy, I've found that giving myself permission to just create is a big part of how I take care of my mental health day to day. When life feels overwhelming or my mind is racing a million miles an hour, sitting down at my craft desk, pulling out my sprays and just getting lost in the colors, it helps me find a little bit of peace. It's like everything noisy in my head quiets down for a while and I can just be in the moment. There's something really grounding about the feel of the paper under my hands, the soft sounds of the sprays, the way the colors mix and swirl in ways you can't always predict. It reminds me that I don't have to control everything, not in my craft room and not in my life. And sometimes the most beautiful moments come from those things we didn't plan. It might just look like making a mess, but for me, it's a way to breathe again, a way to let go of the pressure to be perfect or to have it all figured out and just enjoy the process. If you struggle with anxiety too, or if you ever have those days where everything just feels heavy, please know you're not alone. And maybe next time you're feeling that way, you can grab some sprays or paints or inks, pull out a scrap piece of cardstock and just play. No rules, no expectations, no judgment. Just you, your supplies, and a little space to breathe and be creative. And if crafting helps you the way it helps me, I'd love for you to share in the comments too. I think it's so beautiful when we can build a community that not only shares projects, but shares the real heart behind why we create. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about making cards. It's about making a little more joy, a little more peace, and a little more you in the world. All right, now that the background is looking so colorful and full of life, it's time to add some splatter, y'all. Because honestly, can you ever have too much splatter? I'm bringing in 3 different colors of perfect pearls today. I've got gold, confetti white, and interference green. I know a lot of us have perfect pearls tucked away somewhere in our stash. They've been around forever, and they are still such a classic for a reason. They are perfect for adding that extra little hint of shimmer and magic to a project without overpowering everything else. I'm just mixing up a tiny bit of each color with water on my craft mat, loading up my brush, and then tapping it over the panel to get some nice random splatters. No perfect flicks here, just letting it fly and land wherever it wants to. Splattering all the things. It always brings a huge smile to my face. It's like the finishing touch that makes everything feel complete, but still playful and loose. Alright, so I like to start with the gold. It's a warm, rich shimmer that always stands out so beautifully against the brighter background colors. Then I'll come in with the confetti white. It's so pretty and soft, almost like little tiny fairy lights sprinkled across the panel. And I think you can see the gold there. I'm not really sure if it's coming across. And finally, a little interference green. It's subtle, but when the light hits it, it shimmers with this cool green glow that adds a little extra dimension without being too in your face. The thing I love about splattering like this is you really can't mess it up. Every flick, every drop, every little accidental spot just adds to the texture and energy of the background. It's messy, it's imperfect, and it's absolutely joyful, y'all. Honestly, this part of the process always feels like a little celebration to me. Like the background is already beautiful on its own, but the splatter is the confetti at the party. It's that little final moment of, yep, I made this, and it's awesome. If you've got perfect pearls sitting in a drawer, this is your sign to pull them out and just start flicking and tapping away. Trust me, it's so much fun. You know how Kathy Zilski always talks about giving your embellishments a little boop when you place them? Well, I feel like the splatter is the boop's wild sister. It's that same happy finishing energy, but way messier and way more fun. When I'm flicking perfect pearls across the background, it's like throwing a little celebration over the whole panel. Big splatters, tiny splatters, shimmer everywhere. It just makes everything feel so alive and joyful. So if you love giving your sequins a boop like Kathy does, you'll definitely love adding splatter too. It's pure creative fun. Okay, so now I'm bringing out my Simon Hurley's Everyday Foliage dies and my new Spellbinders Colorwheel cardstock. Just showing you the colors I picked for today. I'm trying to conserve these the best I can because I have 1 sheet of each color, so doing my best. I'm using my Empress Mini for the die cutting because my shoulder's been a little sore lately and it's just easier to sit and work with this machine instead of bending over to the Platinum 6 right now, which is sitting on my floor. And honestly, y'all, I love this little machine. It's a workhorse. The plates barely warp. I've been using the same set of plates since last June and they're still going strong. That's pretty amazing, especially if you do a lot of die cutting like I do. It's small, but it's mighty. There's actually a lot you can cut with it, even bigger, more detailed dies like these foliage pieces. And it runs so smooth and quiet too, just super easy to use. when you want to sit down and craft comfortably. Just remember, sometimes with the little intricate ones, you might have to run them through a few times. I think this one I ran through 3 times because it was a little intricate. All right, y'all, so now I'm just keeping with the theme. If I'm gonna spray one thing, I might as well spray all the things, right? I'm giving my die cuts a good spritz too, using the same sprays and shimmer as the background. It just adds even more sparkle and ties everything together so perfectly. Plus, it's so fun to see how the colors hit the different shapes. Every piece ends up looking a little bit different, and I love that. All right, y'all, we're getting close to the finish line here. I'm adhering my background panel onto a top-folded A2 size note card and using my Spellbinders tape runner, nice and easy. Before I started filming this part, I went ahead and added foam squares to the backs of all my die cuts. I figured you probably didn't want to sit through me peeling off a million little foam backings. It's not exactly the most exciting part, right? So now it's just about gluing everything down and building the final card. I love this part too, seeing it all come together, all the sprays, the shimmers, the splatter, the die cuts. It feels like everything finds its place and the card really comes to life. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today and for crafting along. It truly means the world to me that you're here, whether you're watching while crafting, relaxing, or just looking for a little inspiration. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a like, drop a comment. I would love to hear what you think, and share it with your crafty friends if you think they might enjoy it too. It really does help so much, and it lets me keep bringing you more card making fun. I'll have all my affiliate links to Spellbinders listed in the description box below if you want to check out any of the products I used today. Using those links is a huge help to my channel, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. So thank you so much for supporting me that way if you choose to. Alright, that's it for today's project. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Until next time, keep creating, keep playing, and keep finding the joy in the little things. I'll see you in the next card making video. And y'all keep spraying, spritzing, and booping all the things. I'll see you in the next one, y'all. Ciao for now.